Hey, it's JT, and it has been a while since I've made a 90-meter perspective video, so it is high time I'm remiss on that. So here we go. So yeah, part 107 plus, right? So last time we talked, I had just gotten my part 107, and I was entering this training cycle with AT&T and in their drone training programs. Well, I've come almost full circle within that training cycle. I am now USI safety certified level 2, and I have my final stage of training, which is April 5th and the 19th, 5 days total, in which case I will be trained fully on the Flying Cow, which is an AT&T specific device. But above that and beyond that, that sort of starts a timer. So I have a 2-year commitment with National Disaster Recovery. So should there ever be a hurricane or a tornado or something major that knocks over a cell site in my area, I'll be dispatched, and probably with a team of people, and we will live out in the field for however long that drone is flying. Running in 5-man shifts. We'll have an RV camper that'll be put out there until service is restored in that cell site or that area, and they move us off either to the next area or back to our homes. So anyway, not saying that I'm hoping for a natural disaster. That sucks 100% of the time. But I just know that I will be involved in that, and I take that serious. So yeah, so that's my way of helping. Anywho, so today we're going to do something fun. We're going to talk about drones. Not just drones in general, but specific drones and the state of drones in the prosumer space. I mean, the consumer, but for professionals. So I think you're going to like this. So today we're going to learn something. So what about drones? What are we going to talk about drones? What kind of drones? So like I mentioned before, prosumer drones. Prosumer drones. So this is my first drone. This is a Holy Stone DS-120, good little drone. It's a toy though, right? So it has a camera that's a video transmitter built in, 4-rotor, GPS chip on top, removable battery, right? So it's kind of the entry level, about $150 to $200 price range. With this, I learned to fly, but very little control. It's not a work robot, right? It's a fun, let's fly it in the backyard and see if we don't crash it. And then you move up a step, right? So now we're talking about a DJI. In the last video, I showed you this little guy. This is a Mavic Mini, right? This is a $300 to $500 drone, depending on options, and it's a good starting point. Great camera. I mean, really great camera. Took this picture with it. Yeah. So yeah, it's a fully capable, controllable manual camera in the sky, GPS control, and it has 2 sensors on the bottom, right? Camera, basically. So when it's coming down, it can tell if it's about to come down on something, but it's pretty stupid otherwise, right? You're looking out of here on your iPad, and it can see if you're going to come down on something, but it doesn't have any kind of avoidance collision on the sides or from the top. And then we move up in the scale to the Old Faithful, right? So this drone right here, this is the Phantom 4. Phantom 4 version 1. There's a version 2. I do not have it, but this is really the de facto standard for entry-level professional drone. This drone is fully capable. It's got a gimbal. It's got a 20 megapixel, I believe, 1-inch CMOS sensor, and this little guy can take some awful good photographs. Not only that, but it's a very good and capable video. It's a 3-axis gimbal, so it's always going to be pointing steady, even when you're coming around corners or whatever, so it always moves. It's a really, really nice drone, and this is entry level for this is about $1,600. Comes with a basic battery, the drone, the flight controller. This is a good drone. The version 1 only had obstacle sensing from below and on the front and in the back, so backwards, forwards, and below. Didn't have anything on the top or the sides. The newest version has it from 300. It has it everywhere except for from the top. Right. So when this drone is flying, you get near an obstacle. These sensors will detect that obstacle and give you a return on your screen, a bar showing how close you are to that object. And as you move closer to it, it'll get increasingly louder, saying beep 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 beep, as long as you have collision sensing activated. So it will tell you when you're getting close to, but it's a fairly large drone, and you really don't want to fly too close to stuff, right? but it's stable, takes great photographs, and the industry, a lot of professionals use this drone for mapping, for photography. And we'll talk about those applications specifically in a little bit. And then the Mavic 2 is very similar to this, except for it's a folding version. But now I'm going to show you something that you're really going to like. I really like it. It is the coolest thing going, and I've been waiting to get my hands on one of these bad boys for a long time. This, got the detail, but this is very cool. And one thing you'll notice, the first thing you'll notice is that the motors, the propellers, the front ones are facing down, the back ones are facing up. That's different in a lot of reasons, but the reason for it is there's 6 cameras on the top, and there's 6 cameras on the bottom. And these 6 cameras, 4 megapixels each, they can form a total of 24 megapixels of sensory image, right? 360 degrees. So this thing is always building a photographic model of its universe in 3D, right? It has its autonomy engine inside of it is the first of its kind, right? They use heavy reliance on AI, and we'll talk about AI, but basically this thing has the brains to make decisions. Not on its own, machines don't do it that way, but there's a principle called machine learning, right? That AI is very intertwined, and machine learning basically is it'll take a photograph of something and it presents the machine that photograph, and if it detects something that it's seen like that before, it'll return a value, right? So let's say it's never seen John before. I take a picture of John and then I show a bunch of photographs, and then I say, what's this photograph? And the machine says, I don't know, some bald dude. I say, no, this bald dude is John. So now the machine can associate a photograph of me, my facial recognition features, into computer software. So if this drone is flying around and sees me, or sees something shaped like me, if you don't want to be that detailed, like a human being, it will detect that human being and it will track and function, if so chosen. So from a security standpoint, that's great, fine and dandy. But the real beauty of this drone is it always knows where it is in space, right? So once this drone's locked onto me, if I were to jump onto a motor scooter and go very rapidly down the road, it would follow me, and it would follow me very well. And if I tried to weave in and out of trees, this drone would track through the trees, navigating, even turning sideways to keep me in its camera aspect and avoiding collisions because of these 6 cameras located around, as well as the main camera. The gimbal itself, it's a 3-axis gimbal just like the DJI, except for this one has the ability to go 90 degrees up. So if you're inspecting underneath a bridge, well, you have the ability to look up at that image, right, or at that underside of that bridge without, so that makes it very attractive for inspections. Not only that, you can get very close to the action. Your pilot doesn't have to spend their time and energy worrying about, am I too close, am I too close? The machine does that for you and lets you focus on what you are trying to photograph, and it will position itself to the best advantage of what you're trying to photograph. So once again, this is a Skydio 2, and it is the bomb, and it's made in the USA. Supply chain, not 100% all the way made in the USA. Components, I'm sure they're overseas. But eventually, you're going to have offerings like this. Hopefully this offering, they've got a new one, the X2, which is first and foremost for military, but it's a really neat inspection robot. It's this on crack because it has a thermal sensor on it. And it's a foldable drone with a long battery life. So anyway, this is the Skydio 2, and we're going to take it out flying. But I just wanted to sort of show you the lineup for the prosumer drone. This drone is actually about the same price as the DJI, a little less if you just buy the Drone 1 battery and a controller. It's, I believe, $999. But a full-on professional pack is going to run you about $2,500, and that's premium service just in case you run into trouble. And anyway, so we're going to take this out in the field, and that's going to be a lot of fun.